Selena, welcome to West Coast Creative Studio. Thank you for coming to my podcast, my brand new podcast. You are guest number 2. How do you like the studio?
I love the studio. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. And this is your first podcast.
My very first podcast.
Okay. How do you feel about this?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
I think it's like a new venture. I've watched some podcasts. I'm not like a huge podcast person, but it's chill. Like I like the vibe, you know, it's like two people just having conversation.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Like my podcast, what I want it to be is just talking to creators, artists, and we'll get into that with you, what you do and all that. But that's kind of what I want my podcast to be, just getting into like the nitty gritty of what people do and like how they do it and what drives them and what they're passionate about. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I really want to know more about you, and I'm sure people that are watching this want to know more about you. We've worked together before. Maybe we should talk about how we met and the one project we worked together. So let's kind of start from there. I reached out to you on Instagram. You're on Instagram, and I normally reach out to creators, dancers, so we can collaborate together. So I reached out to you, and you responded, and like we set up a date so we can shoot. And we actually shot a video here in this building, Foundation Creative, in the Jungle Room. That was the first video we shot together. We collaborated, and that was an awesome
It came out so good.
Yeah.
So good.
It did really well too for me. So thank you for that.
For me too.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you guys should check it out. And now I want to learn more about you. So where are you from?
I'm from Texas.
Texas, me too. Texas, that's why I have the hat here.
Yep.
Yeehaw.
I definitely would have brought mine. Couldn't find it.
Here, you can remind mine for a little bit while we talk about Texas.
Yeehaw.
There we go. Give us your best Texas accent.
All right, y'all. So I'm from Texas, and down in the South, we speak a little slower, draw out our words a little bit.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
From Texas.
From Texas.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so what part from Texas?
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
I did move around a lot, though. We started, my mom and my sister moved in with her mom in Laredo. So I started in Laredo, and then we moved to, so we moved closer to San Antonio after a few years. And I actually took some time to move back to Maine with my dad, because my dad lives in Maine. And then when I came back from there, we were a little bit on the outskirts of San Antonio, Cibolo Shirts area, which is a little bit closer to like San Marcos. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've been back home, but I've been missing it a lot.
Do you go back often to San Antonio?
The last time I went home was December for holiday.
Yeah.
But it was very short. It was maybe less than a week.
Yeah. So I'm from Texas too. And I think that's something we bonded over when we first met.
Sure
I'm from
did.
Laredo. Actually, that hat, I got it in Mexico, but that hat's a Laredo hat. If you
Laredo
look at it,
hat.
it's a, if you look at it,
Laredo hat.
Laredo hat. Yeah. Show it to the camera.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the feather. That's a really good touch.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm also from Laredo. I grew up in Laredo. So we grew up pretty much around the same in Texas. So at what time did you decide to move to LA? How old were you and what year was it?
This was right after college.
What year was college?
I graduated in 2016. And after that, I knew that dance was what I wanted to pursue. I got my degree in dance, my BFA in dance. And I just knew that it was the only thing I felt passionate about. And I knew like now's the time if I want to make a big move, either New York or LA. And I just knew, like, I've never been to New York still to this day, which is crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
I want to. It's on my list.
Me too. But in my head, I just thought New York seems a little scarier and cold. I don't like the cold. Being from Maine, also, I didn't enjoy the winters. So I knew LA was probably the best spot for me. And moved out here. I didn't know anybody. I just had a dream and some passion and knew that I would find a way. My first year here, I was working as a secretary. I didn't really do much dancing other than trying to take classes after the 9 to 5, which was exhausting. So after that year of just working, my mom and I talked about it, and we were like, if I really want to jump into a dance career, I have to dedicate my time. And she was, thankfully, because I know not everybody has the support, she was able to help support me for a year of, I did a training program, and the studio's no longer here, RIP. It was called the Edge Performing Arts
Whereabouts
Center.
in LA?
It was in Hollywood.
Okay, so around this area.
Yep. And that's where I did a year-long scholarship program. And I was training basically 6 days a week from like 8 a.m. till 10 p.m., taking classes, doing like specific scholarship classes, which included improv, acting. We did voice lessons. There was a lot of different things that they included in this year-long program that was super valuable for me. And I got to know a lot of the choreographers out here. That was kind of the best start for me since I knew no one in LA and I didn't really have any connections or know other people in the industry. So that was really a key factor in me like jumping in.
Okay. So what year was this?
This was 2017, 2018.
Okay. Wow. So that's a while ago.
Yeah.
So you moved out here just to pursue your dance career.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I love when I hear stories like that, when people move to a certain place to pursue their dream, right? You said it was just a dream. And now fast forward to 2024, like what expectations did you have when you were going to move out here?
I think for me, like one of my biggest goals was obviously, I think that every dancer shares when they move out here is to be on tour and like be with a big artist or something. And that hasn't happened for me. I don't know if it will. I'm not sure if that's really my dream anymore. But I still have had experiences where I am on stage, where I am performing with artists and doing music videos, and I've done my own projects, and I've done projects with other choreographers, which have been really fulfilling as well. And yeah, I wouldn't say that like if that opportunity were to come up for me, I would say, no, I'm over it. But I have put into perspective that it isn't like everything to be on tour. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's not like, make or break for your experience.
I think goals change over time, right? And you've been here for a while now and you've done a lot of different things, I'm sure, and goals change. So what are some of your goals now that you're pursuing?
So now that I've been in LA, it's going to be 9 years in September, which is crazy because time really flies. It really flies. And my goals have shifted to the sense where I'm kind of focusing more on my own style of choreography and trying to expand that and just create a niche for myself. My style has become heavily in heels dancing. So because I've had a lot of training there, I feel like I can kind of create my own style of choreography in that field and start teaching and kind of like bringing my own visuals to life.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, you want to start teaching dancing. And what would you call your style of dancing? You say it's in heels, but is there like a certain name?
I'm still figuring that out. I think it would be really smart to brand a name for it. I know a lot of my personal style, I like to incorporate a lot of use of the booty, which is fun
like
because,
twerking?
like twerking, because twerking does have like a funny stigma around it, but
Yeah.
it's truly a special skill.
I think it's going away though. That stigma, right? I think
Yeah.
slowly it's like
It's slowly going
being
away.
accepted more. I think Is that-
Because truly, like, it is a skill that not everybody can do.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun for me because I have kind of like been focusing on like techniques of it.
Okay.
And incorporating that in a heel is like another level of like fun and hot and sexy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I almost think like maybe it could be like bootylicious heels or something like
nice.
that. But
Okay. Do you have
TBD.
to have a big booty to twerk, or can anyone do it?
You don't have to have a big booty to twerk.
Anyone can
you
do
really
it.
don't. Anyone can do it. It's really about isolating the muscle, because a lot of people think like it's about the back. When you use your booty, you have to relax the booty. So when I say muscle, it's not like tensing the muscle, but knowing, like, putting all your energy there and allowing it to move.
Yeah. So how long have you been dancing now since you started?
Well, I really started dancing in high school because I didn't grow up in a studio.
Were you a cheerleader or in a dance team or something?
I did. It was kind of like a pom squad initially. The first year I did a pom squad, and then from there I leveled up to the varsity dance team. And I kept on leveling up from there. I got to be an officer, and then we called it colonel, which is kind of the captain. And I was like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Like, I need to keep doing this. Also, I loved it. It was so much fun. So
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it, that you love it.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at you now. You're still pursuing this. You're still pursuing dance. And you've come so long. Like, for you to move from Texas to LA just to pursue your dream says a lot about your character and about you as a person, right? And you're still here pursuing this, which is amazing to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So let's talk about social media. When did you start getting into social media and just kind of creating content?
Okay, so one of the things that we learned in this scholarship program was that your social media is your resume almost, your portfolio. Like, they actually would tell us, like, if your social media is too personal, you might want to make another one just for your dance or just for whatever field you're working in, because nowadays when people want to know who you are, what you do, how good you are, they go to your page.
Yeah.
And they want to see, almost like a resume, everything that you've done in your field. And I can remember when I first started, I did create another page. So if you look at my Instagram, you'll see that I have Selena 4422.
Is that your main account?
That's my main account.
Selena with an S.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting. And then my other account is Selena J. Howland. Originally, I made that other account so I could just post my dance stuff. And my other one was a little more personal, but I was still posting some dance stuff there. And what's funny is that one just started to grow way more, like my personal one.
So
because
how many followers do you have right now?
I think I have maybe 55,000.
Okay. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So how long did it take you to get a 55K?
So I don't know, maybe like a few years.
I mean, because you didn't have a following when you moved here, did you?
No.
You started. That's when you kind of started.
So when I
like
started,
5 years to get to like around 55K?
probably. I will say though, certain collaborations that you do will boost you pretty quickly.
100%.
Yeah.
I think collaborations are
Yeah.
like a huge thing, which is why I try to collaborate with people and
Mm-hmm.
help other creators, other artists as well with my, talents, my skills with
Mm-hmm.
video production.
Yeah. So not only that, but because like during 2020, I was more on TikTok because that was the app to be on.
Okay.
I will say I started growing a following on TikTok, and a lot of my followers there came to my Instagram. Not only that, but I was I train with Pumpfidence, which has their own like following on Instagram. So anytime I was tagged in their videos, a lot of people would come to my page. My boyfriend, who I've done some collaborations with now a few times, video that we post together, a lot of followers will come to my page, which is great. So I feel like those really helped me grow, all of those collaborations.
And how important do you think like having a big social media following is as an artist or as a dancer?
It's tough to say. I mean, it sucks to say because unfortunately, a lot of people will overlook somebody who doesn't have a significant following, which can be tough because I know even in my position when I only had maybe like 10K, I had 10K for a long time. I feel like I didn't do any collaborations when I hit 10K, but it was probably coming from my TikTok as well. But I felt so accomplished. I was like, 10K.
That's my goal right now.
Yes.
I need to get a 10K.
Yes. And you'll
10K,
get there.
the road to 10K. Follow me on Zeus.dom. Road to 10K. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But you get there and you're like, I did this myself. Like, this is amazing.
I think it's just so cool because once you get to 10K, like the numbers go away and you just see 10K.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that looks cool.
It's dope.
Yeah.
It's dope. It's a good feeling. But yeah, I will say like, and it's so weird. I honestly think though, like people are starting to get annoyed with that stigma of like, oh, if you don't have a lot of followers, like who are you? You know, like
You think people are getting over that?
I'm kind of thinking
I
people
hope so.
are because I just kind of see that everybody is like annoyed with that. Even people who do have a lot of followers are like, okay, like so what? Like I don't need to be treated different. Some, I won't say all, but some.
Yeah.
But
I think it gets into some people's heads, right? When they have too many followers.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. That's so funny because I have known people in LA that because of their following, they'll say like, oh, well, I just know that if I tell people like, I'll post them on my story that I'll get them free or something like that. Like they carry it with such a big head that I'm just like, like you're not somebody who needs to have this many followers, but whatever.
So if you get to 1 million followers, will you change?
I don't think I could.
But we'll still be friends?
We will still be friends.
Okay, good.
What's interesting is like for me, I've been somebody who's pretty much always been pretty private. So it has been a shift for me to start sharing more, not just dance stuff, because I know when you come with a following, people want to get to know you a little bit better, like on a personal level, even though they don't see you face to face. So I try to. I'm slowly shifting to where I'm feeling more comfortable sharing more about myself and not just like the highlights of my life, because obviously that's all we want to share to social media. The
good stuff.
Yeah, we only want people to see like what we're doing good at.
Yeah.
So,
well, a podcast is a great way to do that, right? Like for example, this right here, what we're doing, we're just having a conversation. And people are gonna be able to see like you and hear about you and learn more about you more than they've ever learned about you. You know, they just know you as a dancer, but here they're hearing your story and kind of like who you are and what you do and how you even got here. I'm sure a lot of people don't even know you're from Texas.
Yeah.
And how you started and how long you've been out here pursuing your goals.
Yeah.
So I think podcasting is
yeah, it's the way to go.
All right, so let's talk about podcasting.
Okay.
Would you ever consider starting a podcast?
I think so. I mean, this is so chill. Like, it's great. I feel like, you know, it doesn't give you that pressure. I feel like for me, if I'm like setting up my camera and trying to talk to my camera for like a vlog or something, I feel so not myself.
Yeah.
I feel like
you're trying to put a front almost, right?
I'm like, hey guys, what's up?
Yes.
And that's not me. Like, that's not me all the time. But I want to seem like I'm very friendly and like I want to draw people in, but that's not authentically me. If I'm to randomly like meet somebody and be like, hey, like I'm more chill about it instead of like in your face, you know? I don't know. There's finding a balance. I'm sure like if I were to do podcasts more often or start one, that I'd get more comfortable just being on camera and speaking. But I think for a lot of people, setting up your phone and talking to it is so awkward.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot more awkward than just kind of sitting here in front of someone and actually having a conversation about stuff that you know and that stuff that you do, right? It's more natural, I think, rather than, like you said, having a camera right in front of your face and like, hey guys, what's up?
Yeah.
Because I've done that. I used to vlog and I used to do that a lot. And it almost seems like you have to like just like turn into like a more energetic version of yourself, right? And you have to like have this like front, like, hey, what's up? And then, but this is a lot more chill, just kind of like having a conversation.
Yeah.
So I really like this. This is my second podcast, and I want to keep making these and just keep having conversations. But if you were to start a podcast, what would you call it?
What would I call it?
Yeah, putting you on the spot.
I'm not good under pressure. No.
Here, put your thinking hat on. There we go. Let me help you.
Okay.
So you're a dancer, right? You're an artist. So if you have a conversation with another dancer, right? What would you guys talk about? Would you talk about maybe dancing, or would you want to get more in depth about like the other people's lives? Like in your brain, like what is it that you are more interested in to learning from other people in a podcast?
I think I would want to hear like maybe their creative process.
Okay.
Whether it has to do with like choreography, how they, get into that headspace of letting that like the movement flow. Or also just like tapping into your like what feeds you. When I start to get into a flow for choreography, like I truly feel like it's not even coming from me, that I'm receiving it. And I'm just like, okay, this feels really good. Like it feels really good to connect to, like, it feels like source. That's like just pouring through you.
Yeah.
So I just would love to hear how other people tap into that for themselves.
Yeah, that's interesting because I'm sure like a lot of dancers have their own process on how they go about creating choreography, right? And I'm sure like they all do it differently, and that'd be a cool kind of topic to talk about, a little niche that
Yeah.
people would like to hear from other dancers and other just artists. That would be cool. So what is your most viral video that you've ever created? And before you answer that, how do you come up with like these ideas of dancing, like with you and your boyfriend? How do you guys come up with these crazy like choreography dance videos?
Yeah. Okay. So, because probably my most viral ones are the ones that I've done with him. Number one, he has a huge following. Number two, he's such a talented dancer, and he's been doing
Do you
martial
want to
arts.
plug him? What's his?
Dance 10 Fiction on Instagram.
How many followers does he have?
He must have like, oh my gosh, I haven't even looked, like 2 million something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's high. It's up there.
Yeah.
He's established himself
Okay.
for sure.
Awesome.
When we got into our creative process, because we both grew up doing Taekwondo. What's funny is like his dad was a Taekwondo instructor, and so was mine. So I did a little bit of Taekwondo growing up, but it's been so long that it kind of took some time to get back into my body. But it's very familiar. So when we did our first video, we incorporated like martial arts, but it also had like a little bit of a dance flair to it, which was really fun. And I think a lot of people liked that about our video. And really, like, he's the genius behind creating the martial arts choreography. He's the one who knows, like, this is where you would block, this is where we could do this punch or kick. And he kind of just is like, well, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, let's try it. So we'll try it. And it came together pretty quickly. The dance ones that we do, we come up with together, which is really fun. Actually, it took us a long time to be comfortable dancing together.
Yeah. No, it's crazy what you guys do, like those choreography, and it's so fluid. And how long does it take for you guys to come up with a choreography from, like, let's say when you guys are starting to when it's like when you guys feel it's ready so you guys can record it?
Okay, so for instance, the last one we did, the Texas one, not Texas, but it feels like Texas country to me. We literally just were playing the song. We loved the song, so we were just playing it. And then we stood up and we're like, let's see if we can come up with some choreography. So we did. We started, creating it. And it came together pretty quick, maybe within like 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a very long choreo, but we were like, okay, this feels good. We like this. Let's keep going. Okay, let's just do it to this part. It only needs to be less than a minute. It doesn't need to be long. And it was really fun. Like, it came together quick. And then after that, we rehearsed, like, we kind of like recorded it. We let it sit. And then we were like, okay, let's rehearse it another time or two. And then we decided, we were like, okay, we're ready to film it. Let's just film it.
How many takes does it take you guys?
We probably did like at least 5 or 6 takes.
Okay.
Just
That's
because,
not a lot.
yeah, well, because we did have like cars coming, like passing on the street, or maybe I just didn't feel like I nailed one. I don't know, but it wasn't too bad.
Doesn't sound like a long process. I would have thought that it take you guys a lot longer
Yeah.
than that.
Well,
But you guys are athletes, you guys are
yeah.
dancers, so I think you guys are naturals, right? And now you guys have that chemistry as well where you can flow together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like even the first fight video that we did together that went really viral.
Is that your favorite video you guys have done together?
I think so. I think it is my favorite because it came together so quick. We really didn't do many takes. I think we did like 3 different takes, and like we loved like maybe the second one. We did the third one for safety, and it just came together so quick. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny. Like some things just like work.
Yeah. No, it works, and I think those videos are awesome. What about videos that you do on your own? That it's just, or maybe you with like, I've seen that you have like other dancers. How long does that take for you to choreograph? Sometimes it seems like you guys just kind of like do it just randomly, and
Yeah.
you just kind of do it really quick. Is that how it happens?
So actually, I just did one yesterday, and that was kind of a quick turnaround for me because last week I asked some girls to come to the studio with me and just kind of workshop some choreo that I had just been inspired to do, and it was another country song, so you'll see some more Western.
Country's coming back.
Yeah, country is it right
Texas,
now. Come on, Texas.
Texas, let's go.
Let's go, Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
So last week I just had a studio session and kind of like threw the choreo at them, and they picked it up right away. And I kind of like had a few days, but once you do something like that, you want to have a quicker turnaround. Otherwise, I know I will just sit on it, and I'm a procrastinator. So if I don't throw it out right away, I'm just gonna sit on it forever. So I was like, I need to find a space and just have it filmed, because of course when you're in a studio you don't really have the space to film it properly. And then the night before, I decided I wanted to make some tweaks to the choreography. So even going into our filming set, like I told him beforehand, I was like, heads up, I want to make some changes. Don't stress. But we did it. We probably took the first like 30 minutes to go over the changes that I made. And then from there, we quickly like figured out where the best angle was. We did our spacing and just started filming it. We probably did it in like, we must have did like 7 or 8 takes, which can be exhausting, especially if you're going back to back.
And how long is the choreo?
The choreo was like about a minute.
Okay.
About a minute, yeah.
So that's like 8, maybe 8 to 10 minutes of like just going kind of hard at this choreo.
Yeah, and of course, like we'll take a second in between, but like.
So what would you tell someone that is pursuing what you're pursuing, like going into like the dance industry, someone that's young, upcoming, like what kind of advice would you give them so they can be successful in this industry?
I would say for the first like year or however long you feel it takes for you to establish like a solid group of friends that you can kind of rely on like in your industry, like that's so important, because for me, when I have ideas or even like with jobs that you get, like a lot of it is from networking and how you know people, somebody recommends you or something like that. I think it's important to establish like solid relationships.
So networking. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Networking, but there's a lot of people in LA who network and you know they're networking because they want to get something out of you. Or so my thing is like really differentiate and know for yourself like what kind of people you want to be around and attract, but in a genuine way. because people can feel when you're not being genuine, when you're just looking for an opportunity or you're looking to use them for something. I've had a lot of people like that. Like I've met a lot of people like that, and now I feel like I can tell what people those are, but it's important. Like now I can say I have a very solid group of people who I know are genuine and I trust and who will show up for me, and I in return show up for them. So it's like you're helping each other grow, and that's super important to have.
Yeah, I think networking is huge, and having a group of people, and I think authenticity, right, is huge. People you trust, and yeah, just meeting different people, and like you said, not meeting people that are just trying to take from you, but also just trying to help you.
Yeah.
So you say you want to start teaching how to dance, right? I should connect you with Mary Grace
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's a dance studio in this building at
Yeah.
Gravity LA. Shout out Gravity LA. Yeah, I should definitely connect you with her because maybe you can teach classes there.
I've been following her. She
Okay.
does shuffling, and
She
she's dope.
shuffles and she
She's
does a
dope.
lot of different, stuff. And there's other dancers that are teaching there too. So
Yeah.
let's get you in contact with her. I think
Dope.
she's someone that would be good for you to have in your network. And maybe you could start teaching classes there too.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and
It's
do
a
that.
beautiful studio too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and do that. Is there anything you want to talk about that we didn't touch on?
I guess I would just say, like, moving to LA can be really scary. Like, there's a lot of pressure, of course. There's so many people out here trying to do the same thing you are. And it's easy to get overwhelmed. But I think as long as you remember and hold on to that fire that initially drew you here to LA, to where you believed in yourself, always, always, always hold on to that, because it can be easy to like compare yourself, to feel like it can be easy to downplay your own success when you're thinking, well, I haven't, like, for instance, sometimes I would get down on myself if I didn't go on a tour, and I'm just like, well, why haven't I accomplished that yet? But it's not necessarily, there's so many other things that I've accomplished that I can't ignore just because this one thing didn't happen. So I think just always hold on to your fire and your passion, believe in yourself, and in turn, like, people can only believe in you because they see that you believe in yourself.
Yeah. Has there been a time where you've reached a point out here in LA where you're like, man, maybe I need to go back to Texas?
Myself, no.
Okay. So that was never been an option for you. You're like, no, I'm going to be out here, stick it out and make it happen.
It's never been an option for me. I will say, like, my mom is somebody who I talk to every day, and she's been my number one fan forever. So she's always like very encouraging, but there has been times where she'll tell me like, like, seems like it's getting, hard out there. What do you think? Should you come? Like, you're always welcome to come back home. And I'm just like, thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. But I just don't see it. I can't see it happening. I feel like because I've put in so much time and built so many relationships, this almost feels like home. Maybe not my permanent home, but it feels like home to me now, that if I were to leave, I'd feel like I'm just letting go of so much that I've already built.
Yeah. I feel the same way too. I've been out here for like over 10 years, and I just don't even want to see that as an option to like go back to Texas, just because I've built so much here now. And I do feel like this is like home now, right?
Yeah.
However, I maybe one day I will move to Texas, some part of Texas, right?
Yeah.
But for now, I mean, this is where I'm at now, and I've built so much here, so I feel the same way about that too.
My mom keeps reminding me, she's like, they're building a lot of production studios in like near Austin, it might be the new Hollywood. And I'm just like, well, if it comes to that, then, and if there's an opportunity for me to go to, then I don't see why not. But right now the opportunity's here.
Yeah. It's always about opportunities, right? And you seem like you're someone that takes opportunities. And if there's an opportunity to move to Texas, then obviously I think you would take it. Same with me too. If there's an opportunity for me to move somewhere else, I would take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It would just have to be a really good opportunity.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to sell me. or
Right.
have to be sold on it.
Yeah, for sure. It has to make sense for you, your career, and your life, basically, right? Because you've built so much here now, and it's going to be hard to just let that go.
Yeah.
So there has to be something really enticing for you to move back
Yeah.
or move anywhere else, really.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. Where do you think is like the best place to be a dancer? Is it LA or is there another place?
I guess the two places would be LA or New York. Personally, for me, I would say LA, but because it feels like more of the commercialized dance. And although I haven't been to New York, so I can't fully say wholeheartedly I know for sure, but it seems that New York is more theatrical and for like Broadway and more technical like ballet or those areas of dance, where I think in LA is more like music videos, commercial, little stage performances, burlesque, all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
And is there any dancers or artists that inspire you that you look up to?
There's so many. I mean, there's so many established, incredible dancers and artists here in LA that it's hard to name just one.
Yeah. Is there one that you kind of like, you're like, man, I love the way they move. I love the way they dance, that you can think of? I know there's so many.
There's so many. I'm like,
Okay, what about any like celebrities that you look up to that are, dancers that you can
I will say she's a hot new artist right now, Tate McRae. She's killing it. But she was a dancer before she started her music career. But watching her perform with her like stage present and dancing like completely full out, like that's incredible to see, because she's, I think, showing how pop is making a comeback with dance in a sense. Like I know the big in the 2000s, like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera would all have like full out dance performances on stage and in their music videos, and I think she's bringing that back.
Cool.
In a more like
Tate McRae?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Tate McRae. I got to check her out.
Yeah. You haven't heard, I mean, I'm
No,
sure
I
you've heard
haven't.
her songs.
Okay, maybe.
They're super popular.
Up and coming artist?
Well, I feel like she's
She's been?
established at
Okay.
now, like, because she's hit like top charts, I think, for a lot of her songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Selena, thank you for coming to my podcast, the Good Talk podcast. I messed that up. The Good Talk podcast, and that was a good talk.
Yes, great talk.
So thank you for coming, and I'm so grateful that we met and that we're still, talking. And when can we do another
I
video?
know.
When can
I
we
would love to
collaborate
do
again?
another one.
Yeah.
Like ASAP.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and plan it, and we'll shoot something else. But thank you for coming again.
Thank you.
Awesome. Subscribe to my podcast. Follow me and follow Selena. What's your Instagram?
SELENA 4422, Selena 4422.
There you go. Follow her. She's a great dancer, great artist. So see you guys on the next one.
See you.